Hey everyone, welcome back to Bear's Workshop. And we have today's 197th flyover with live streaming for you guys. So, another flyover, another day, and apologize for not being around last week. Had places to be, but I am back and we'll be continuing our live streaming schedule this week. Before we get to the video, and we're going to give everyone some time to get on. It looks like we got about 18 people on. We're going to wait for a couple more. We're going to get started by just taking a look at the Nikola stock and maybe talking about that a little bit if you guys want, because that's it's hard. It's hard stuff there, right there. So let's take a look. There we are. Started off. Let's see. See if I got this right here. Oh, I'm going to click back and forth so we get this graph working right. Let's see. Closed at 577. Opened at 622. Reached 636, but then promptly started sinking the rest of the day along with the rest of the markets again today, which is pretty hard to deal with emotionally, financially. How are you guys holding in there? I know Tyler, he's buying cheap shares. Anybody else buying, or anyone else holding on to their margin with dear life? Because I think that's where a lot of these people who are selling they're getting margin calls and they're being forced to sell, which is pretty horrific if you're in that situation. So hopefully we have an update tomorrow. We'll have to see. This is all about inflation. It's not about the war in Ukraine. It doesn't help. But it's all about inflation and spending too much money, in my opinion, and all the numbers, GDP going down and a recession looming. So hopefully we can see a bounce, and hopefully nobody loses anything if they get called out on a margin. John's touchpad says 5x5. I'm not sure what that means, but okay, cool. John, let's go lucid. Welcome back. And Shay Alon says buying. All right. So now we got 42 people on. That's fantastic. That just jumped up, huh? Pike Poke says Bear is awesome. Go Nikola, headed in the right direction. Well, the company's headed in the right direction. The stock price is not. So we've got to hope for something a little bit better on that. We already got a decent amount of people on, so we're going to go straight to the video, and we're going to take a look at today's construction progress and see what we see. And the big thing today that we're going to see is the track progress. There is a lot of that. Tyler says, high inflation requires higher interest rates to reduce demand and slow down the economy. Not so good for assets, houses, stock market, etc., and especially not for growth stocks. 5x5, audio and video is good. Glad to hear it, because I forgot to ask. Rail says, thank you, Bear. We must forget the Nikola stock for 2 to 3 years. The factory is more interesting. Yes, and we are seeing some more interesting things going on. They're not in the biggest of hurries. They've got their timeline, and their timeline does not include starting the next phase of the building, but it does include starting the test track, which is starting. All right. So there's our look back, and that is our test track right there. You guys can get a good look at that. There's the factory in the top right-hand corner. Oh, look. I hate my new mouse. I'll never get used to this. Okay. Not going to touch my mouse. It's got like a trackpad on it. So up top, you see the factory over there, and you can see, you guys have seen this factory before, and you know that it's not exactly small, despite what some people might say, but we're probably at like 400,000 square foot, and you can see the track and where it's going to be going all the way through here, then around. It's going to go through this area that they've already paved over, then back around. Whether or not it's going to be angled, we will just have to wait and see. But they've got quite a few pieces of equipment doing circles and making that test track for it. Can't wait to see if it's going to have an embankment where it's like this on the side so that they can do 70 miles per hour on this thing. That would be pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. So 1.4 miles is that test track. Angel says, hello, Bear. And John Let's Go Lucid says, stock price will return. So they got the water truck out there. They've got, I don't know what they would call it. So it's a tractor with like an agitator type of blades that chops up the dirt so that they can go back around and then smooth it out. I know that there's a scraper up top and there's a couple more pieces of equipment. Hey, let's go take a look at those and see what those are over there. Let's see. Greetings from Belgium. Here in Europe, there is no interest in Nikola, and there are already other EV Semi available. Well, we'll have to see what happens there. I believe that Nikola is not exactly pushing it very hard in Europe right now, but they will be when they decide to get that own plant online. A Dash and Stone says, "Yo, bro, glad you're back home safe. Thank you. Appreciate that." There we see a couple of the other earth removing machinery right there. Let's go back. Let's see. Yeah, we got the scraper right there, and then that one picks up dirt and redistributes it in other places. I forget what the name of it is. Maybe it is a scraper, but it's not. Or maybe it is. What do I know? Tyler, any guess on when Nikola TC will officially announce Arizona production hub? Mark said that in Q1 2022 earnings call that they would be announced very soon. Yeah, that's all we can hope for very soon. The only reason I hold that information back is it's just getting lost in how bad the market is right now. Though I would still love to see good news. Good news is necessary. See a lot of grading going on over here next to this other circle right here, which I believe is, they may be partially removing some of that, but we'll have to wait and see what exactly they do. But with over here, which is kind of cool, we're going to zoom in on this, and then I'm going to pause it. Perfect pause. There are 4 tritium chargers right here. These are generators that they've set up out here, and this generator is powering these 2 charging stations, and then we've got the other one, which is right here, the other 2 that are right here, and they've got cables running into that generator right there. So they've got those out. I don't know if they've got them out there. It's certainly not a permanent thing, and it's on the test track. So I'm sure they have their reasons for putting it out there, whatever they are. Maybe they're just qualifying the equipment and testing it out. And those things, those generators make a lot of noise, so maybe they wanted it somewhere else. So that's a possibility, but that's just all guesswork. Just like any guesses on when Nikola and TC Energy will announce something. Just always guesses. Like I said, hopefully soon. Here we see one of the trays doing some validation testing with an empty flatbed. And he's going to go zip on through into a circle, and we're going to watch, because that's what we do. I watched this the first time in fast motion. It would seem much quicker. But yeah, he's just smoothly going through there. What they're testing, I don't know. But you guys can always make guesses. Ooh, it's getting warm in here. Gets toasty here in Arizona right now. I don't know what the temperature is right now, but it's hot. I've got the AC unit off so as not to bother you people. But let me see what that temperature is. 102 today. So that means in my shop it's probably about 90, 95, which means the AC is going on. If it bothers you, apologies in advance. But that's what the summer is going to be like with live streaming. We've got to have the AC going. So hopefully it's not making too much noise for you guys. Anyway, we followed the tray back, and there was plenty of trays out today. Probably all their testing ones, but can't say for sure. But their testing ones have been parked there for a couple weeks now, so that's what it looks like. As we're flying over here, see we're coming up to the dyno building, and we can also see a grader or a scraper right here. It looks like they're leveling everything out here, so we expect to see some additional work there. Maybe more of the slab. I know there's some concrete that is buried underneath that, so we're not sure whatever happened to that. JKM. AC never bothers me. Thank you. Just the hum in the background. Oh, you're supposed to say you don't hear a thing. Nothing whatsoever. So where you can see we got 8 trucks out there plus one that's driving. Now we know that I think they had 8 previously. And since I've been back, they got the roof on, or at least the metal decking on the wash building. So there's some progress on that. We've got 7 validation trailers now. One of them looks like it's got the 40 tons. One looks like it has a lighter load. And here's where you can see the grader just smoothing everything out. And we're going to see what kind of finishing touches that they're going to put on there. But we know from what we've seen, this area right here and some of this area right here had concrete slabs underneath it. And I've been told that there was supposed to be hydrogen filling station right around here, or at least a hydrogen stack. And we know we have the hydrogen stack right here, though we haven't seen a fuel cell truck in a little bit. We know that the ones that they've made, they're out being tested at customers, and there's a trailer, a mobile charging trailer right there. Let's see, what else do we have here? There goes the tray with the trailer on it, doing its validation testing of some sort. We also notice here that all the cabs that have been there are now gone. So all the cabs have been moved inside. They've got a crew that works on getting the cabs assembled, and then they get put on the line. Shamshar Sandhu says, it's crazy weather in Northern California this year. Cold and warm days making people sick. Yeah, well, we've gotten to a point where we're just warm days. 102 in May is quite the norm for us. Actually, it's kind of late for us to get into hundreds. Sometimes it happens in March. Over here, we can see the frames that we believe are outdated, and it looks like another one has joined that crowd. So the one, there's 12 there. Wait a minute. Nope. Wait a minute. No, that's 9 and not. That's 9, 10, 11. So that's the 11 that have been there, plus this one that's been sitting there for a while. We're wondering if that one is no longer going to be used now. We've got this one right here, and I think we have another couple up against the building. And plenty of tires. I said like 2 weeks ago I had mentioned 6 tires per tray. No, it's 8 tires, or 10. 2, let's see, 4, 8. Yeah, it's 10 tires, not 6. I totally left off an axle, so I apologize if anyone goes back and says, you're an idiot, you can't count. They're right. I can't count. I'm not an idiot, but, I can't count. So over here, these boxes over here those hold some more of the solar panel cells that are still going up in the employee parking lot area. So they're still putting those up. They got people up on a man lift. The security building's looking pretty good. I don't think it's functional yet. I think they've got quite a bit of work on the inside to do, but the outside looks nearly complete. Saw an article in which a manager at a trucking company testing a tray says it is 29,000 pounds. That the truck is 29,000 pounds? Is that what you're saying, Lockbert? Because I don't believe that that's right. I think I heard something about that like a couple weeks ago, but I don't believe that these trucks are quite that heavy. And who knows, maybe he was talking about the semi and the trailer. I don't know, but they're still able to pull 40 tons. So somehow they're saving weight somewhere. I don't know, let's look that up real quick. We're going to look that up. A semi-tractor can be between 10,000 and 25,000 pounds. Let's see. An unladen 53-foot trailer weighs about 10,000 pounds, leaving 35,000 pounds. Okay, let's see. How much does just a truck weigh? 10 to 25,000 pounds. Tyler said, Trey BEV, that's heavy, but not surprising. Nikola said during Investor Day that they and others are lobbying the government to increase weight capacity to higher than 82,000 pounds for zero emission semis. Here we've got the what will be the next phase. It's looking a little bit more clear since my previous flyover with you guys. But we are probably still a month or two away, at least, before something happens there. I believe that they are still in the design phase, which will quickly go to the building phase. They're going through permits more than likely. I don't know that for sure. And once they have their approvals, they'll be starting this pretty quickly, because I know that they already have construction material that has been ordered a long time ago. See, now, in my questions to people at Nikola and asking them about the range, they said that the range was fully loaded at 40,000 pounds. So I'm not sure exactly where the numbers are and where they're coming in. So it's something that obviously is important about how much you can carry. But that's another reason why they're having the fuel cell, because the fuel cell truck will be a lot lighter. There you can see the man lift with the Q cell solar panels, putting them up. I think there is somebody on there. You can see it rocking if you look closely enough. And they are just knocking all those out. I'm gonna look up something else too. I don't think I can find this. Let's see. Trying to find the weight of the truck. A lot of misinformation out there. I know that some of the stuff I'm looking at is just not accurate. Let's see. So the weight limit's 82,000 pounds. Yeah, we're going to wait. I'm not going to say anything too wrong. Or I want to not say anything too wrong. How much does a fuel cell EV weigh? I don't know that. I've heard different numbers, so I don't even want to repeat them because I'm just hearing different numbers, and it leaves you with, you don't know what's correct anymore. Sean Lavery, have you been buying more shares? I know some people on here have been. I'm out of money right now, so I'm not buying anything. Olivia says, hi, Bear. Gigi saw a video from Axshow where engineer driver agreed with rider that 350-mile range was with ideal conditions. And that's what I was told, too. It is with ideal conditions. But ideal conditions loaded. So Tesla car is like 5,000 pounds, where a normal car is like 3,500. The Model Ys and 3s are a little bit less than that, but you're not that far off. You're only a couple 100 pounds off. Big steak dinner would make up that difference right there. So a fuel cell EV is going to be more. I think it's going to could end up being comparable to a diesel. You don't have the big heavy diesel motor. You don't have the fuel that you have to carry, because they have the 50-gallon drums on each side. It's 100 gallons at about 8 pounds a gallon. That's a lot. That's a lot of fuel. I know you burn it off as you're driving. And you do still have some battery packs on there. And then you've got all your fuel cell equipment. So It's one of those things where they're going to come pretty close to this. JKM, I've been buying this thing's in the fives. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. The price is really disheartening, but we're all under the impression that it has to do with the market and not the actual company itself, because we know that the company is doing exactly what it said it's going to do. But the stock price doesn't help when they're trying to raise capital, and we know that there's a couple of capital raises that are tied to the stock price. So BEV Semi will weigh the same all the time, whereas fuel cell will weigh less or more depending on how much hydrogen is in the truck. How much does the hydrogen actually weigh, though? That would be my question. How much does it actually weigh? I know you've got your tanks and stuff, but that's a static number. The tank weight is static. How much does the fuel actually weigh? Not in kilograms, because I don't speak kilograms. JKM finally got my average into the mid 9s. The average that used to be good. Yeah. While we're talking, I'm just going to go ahead and rewind this. Start it over. We're probably going to only go about 30 minutes or so today, as long as we have activity in the chat, so that I have something to chat about. We got 70 people on. How many likes we got? Let's see, we got 39 likes. You got 21 people not liking this. Go ahead and hit it. Hit it. Deep says, not much, and I assume you're talking about the weight of the hydrogen, because I don't think hydrogen weighs all that much, because it's supposed to be lighter than air. Now, when it's in that state, I don't know what the weight would be, but I don't think it's going to count for much. Tyler, I don't know how much hydrogen weighs. I do know the liquid hydrogen is about 4 times as energy dense as gaseous hydrogen. Okay. But how does that help us with the weight? I don't know. I have no idea, because, as you guys know, that's not my forte, the scientific stuff on this. If I could put my mind into Kim's mind, I think he's hoping the share price goes up with earnings reports Q2 or Q3, and the stock goes up. Yeah. But a lot of us would like to see it go up a little bit more right now. This is getting a little bit hard to deal with. You start running into people talking about delisting if you get into certain price ranges, and we would hate to see anything like that. And it's not just Nikola. There are so many other companies out there going through the same thing, where they're doing fine, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're just finding their stock price is falling. Look at that hawk down there. I think it was just a shadow of one also. Went right through the bottom. If you guys ever saw it, we did a video. It was probably a good 150 plus videos ago, where we were flying at this height, and we had a bird come right up to us and just hover right in front of us, like deciding whether or not to attack us, and decided to fly off, which is a good thing, because meeting up with a bird, one of those hawks, would have been disastrous for both of us. We would have crashed and burned, and they would have gotten torn up pretty bad. I think we put it in the thumbnail, so if you go through the old videos, you might be able to find it in the thumbnail. If we did that, we might have put it in the description. I don't remember. Let's see. Google states the energy in 2.2 pounds of hydrogen gas is about the same as the energy in 1 gallon of gasoline. Okay. So we're looking at least half the weight. Deeps, they'll do a reverse split. Oh. I always have something to talk about, LOL. All right. Well, good. Again, if you missed it earlier, those are the tritium chargers. There's 4 of them over there and 2 generators. My guess is that they stuck them out there because those generators are noisy, and they may be validating testing the chargers, or they just may be wanting to run them out there, but they do not have them hooked to the grid. More than likely, those are diesel generators, I could only imagine. And they're going to run those chargers out there, probably see if they work, and then go ahead and sell them. Anybody else looking forward to the next earnings call? I sure am. I know my welding tanks are about 100 pounds. Are those the really tall tanks or the short ones? The short ones that are like 2.5 feet, or I think the other ones are like 4 feet. I've got some of the 2.5 feet ones. I don't know. Okay, thank you, Deeps. 5 feet tall ones. Those are the tall ones. GG. Perhaps Nikola should hold on next phase until they can demonstrate orders justify it. Hawkish on cash burn would help stock, and most EV companies have orders in before they build capacity. Well, they do have orders in, and I think that is their goal, is to always keep getting more orders. I'm wondering if they're holding back on orders right now, or they're just on the verge of announcing but are just holding back because of the way the market is right now. But I don't know, maybe that's stock manipulation. I'm just guessing. If it is, then that's not why they're doing it. But they've got a plan, and the longer they take to get the next phase going, the longer it is going to be to scale this up. And I've seen the documents of how they're planning on scaling up with the production line, and they need the space, and they will be able to pump these things out. And they will be putting, some of them will just end up on dealership lots if they ever get to the point where they have a surplus, and or because they have dealerships that will be selling them, and if they're on the lots, they're easy to sell. Mike Hiller says, "Hi, Bear." Hey, Mike. And we've got the dust control going on down there. I wonder if they're going to be paving this area soon also. They've got some more aggregate out there. Looks like they're going to be spreading it out there, probably with anticipation of paving that area soon. That whole area that they've just finished was still empty for the next phase, but they're moving in the equipment and they're getting that ready. And that area is going to really bring up what their production capacity is going to be. But their production capacity is still a lot higher than what their supplies and logistics can bring into them. So having the building at least done, it will make a significant difference. And if the orders aren't there, then they can always just go right into skip the inside of phase 1. There's 0.5, 1, and then 2. 2 is going to be this entire area right here. This section right here is phase 1, and this is, for the most part, is not set up yet. The assembly line is here. We'll pause this. Assembly line goes from here and then down through here. Over here, they do like the cab assembly right there. They've got a lot of storage going on in a lot of these places. This is a validation area over here where they are doing, when a truck comes off the line, they start testing everything out right there. There's a large paint shop right here. It's a single vehicle paint shop. It's not like a line, but it is a paint shop. So the next phase is supposed to bring in like 2 more lines through here, and that will come back through this line and then bring it down. By doing that, they reduce how much time each station has to be, and by cutting down each station time, that means if they, right now they're, well, a couple weeks ago they were at 4 hours. Immediate goal is to bring it down to 90 minutes. But if they can get it down to, I don't remember the time, but if every station moves every 30 minutes, that means that every 30 minutes a truck is coming off the line. And you bring it down to 20 minutes, every 20 minutes a truck's coming down the line. So the more stations that you have, the less jobs that they have at each station, and then the line can move that much quicker. So that's what we're looking at. So right now with the amount of supplies that they can get, and it's all batteries, making that production line move too quickly doesn't benefit them all that much. Right now, if they get it to 90 minutes, that will be what they need to produce the 300 to 500 trucks this year. So that's their goal for this year. We got from Mr. Boring, we got, "Hi Bear, greetings from Norway. Congrats on the Nikola factory tour. Well deserved. Love the video. Thank you. I appreciate that." Tom says, "Mr. Bear, do you think they should use the solar panels in the parking lot to make green hydrogen?" It doesn't matter, because they don't have enough solar panels to power the site. So if you use it to make green hydrogen, you're just moving it from one place to another, and you're still going to be using whatever fuel you needed to make the green hydrogen. So it doesn't make any difference in the end. So if they just use it to power the plant, that's great. Maybe one day they'll have the whole place covered in solar panels, and if they're doing that, then let them go ahead and do the hydrogen stations that way. Sean Lavery, 200,000 miles later, does anyone know how much it would cost a diesel semi in brakes and rotors? There's a couple guys on here that might be able to answer that, but I'm guessing a lot. Well, depends on your version of a lot, but I know, let's see, my buddy's got a Class A that he just changed out the brakes front and back, or was it? No, it was just the front, and just have a Class A diesel, and he spent $3,000 to $4,000 on that. And that Class A had about 40,000 miles on it when it needed its brakes changed, and I'm not even sure if he had to do the rotors, but just the amount of labor and the parts that had to be replaced was $3,000 to $4,000. So that's just on a Class A diesel, an RV. So gross weight on that was probably around 30,000. Deep says, without tires, about 10K a year in maintenance. Is that just for the brakes, brakes and rotors, or is that for more than that? Tires are also going to get expensive also. Another view of the employee parking lot with the solar panels, and for those of you that don't know, that's around 750 kilowatts of power that will be installed in that parking area, give or take. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but around 750 kilowatts, which is quite a bit. Not as much as Tesla. Tesla's got, that's going to be a phenomenal amount of solar panels, because they're doing the entire roof minus the letters Tesla. That's going to create a lot of power, and it still won't be enough power to power that factory. I bet they're going to have a lot of power walls in that thing. Deep says everything on that maintenance cost. All right, Jokol, hi Bear. So the Toyota Mirai has a tank capacity of 12.35 pounds. So for the Nikola FCV, should be very cheaper than diesel, maybe around 100 pounds of fuel or more. Okay. Those are good questions, and one day I need to ask somebody who would be in the know about that, because that's some good information. 18 cents a mile for maintenance. Yeah, and that's probably the best way to figure it out, is how much per mile, because that's what it comes down to, not including tires. Whew. Tires can be one of those things that can go in any direction. I had a couple weeks ago, like a month and a half ago, I was driving a truck, one of my trucks, and just driving down the road, and all of a sudden there was a piece of metal right in the road. Boom. Missed my front tire, took out my rear tire, and poof, there was $250. I had to drive off the freeway on a rim, drove to the nearest tire shop. You could lose tires in a heartbeat. Forget about just regular maintenance. But yeah, you got regular maintenance, but you just never know when you're going to lose one real quick. Juggle says, thanks for the tour of the factory. Love that video. Buy the dip. Yes. Buy the dip if you can. This area right here, this was emergency parking. Not for emergency vehicles, but for they're going to have so many employees very shortly that they are going to have to put the overflow into that lot right there. So that was made as a temporary measure for all the employees that they've hired. That's what I was told. So that's pretty good, because once they get all those employees out of that area, the courtyard area, though it's not a courtyard, where they have all the trucks going through and the loading docks, once they get everyone out of that area, they didn't have enough spots. Deep says, then if you have all-wheel drive, you have to replace all 4 if they are worn. Yes. Yeah. It is not cheap to run a truck. And the cost of maintenance is very much a factor in these trucks. So then you've got oil changes. Nobody talked about oil changes on a truck. Transmission fluid changes, which are not going to happen as common as the oil. You've got coolant system flushes, which it's necessary. What's even worse about cooling systems is that when you actually blow a hose, because that will kill your truck. And if you run it too long, overheating, you could seriously damage the engine. It's another thing that they won't have to worry about in the battery electric. And I would imagine that there's enough systems in both the fuel cell and the battery that if something like that happens, the truck's going to put itself in limp mode real quick. So we are sitting at about 36 minutes. We're going to get ready to wrap it up shortly. I do want to remind everybody that I will be back live streaming tomorrow with Fast Charging with B&B with Brian from my Tesla weekend at 4 p.m. Pacific. And then we're going to do another live stream of the Lucid site on Wednesday, and that should be a fantastic time, I hope. And you know what? Tomorrow's live stream might be rescheduled for a little bit later. We might be doing 5 o'clock. So I will get back to you on that. I got to let Brian know. I think I have something going on at 4 o'clock tomorrow. So anyway, you guys got any questions? Let's get it down there real quick. This is another overview of that test track, where you can see the line in the sand where they're grading here. Do they have a cooling system for the batteries? They do have something in place, and I don't know what it is because I didn't see anything on the line. The batteries themselves, I didn't see anything going in there for cooling, now that I think about it, because they were in large 3 foot by 3 foot, almost by 2 or 3 feet boxes. And I don't know if there was something already built in, but that's how they're getting them from. I think they're getting them like that from the manufacturer, but I'm not really sure on that. So I didn't see anything regarding cooling systems. There was, now that I think about it, there was something on the line about cooling. But I didn't actually see it. I didn't actually see what they're doing, but there is something there. I just can't. It's thermal. It's on the thermal spot on the line, because that has to deal with cooling. But I didn't see the actual items that we're talking about, or that we'd like to actually see. Maybe if I get in there another time, I'll have to ask about that. Get more into the specifics of that. Because after you go through there once and you ask a whole bunch of questions, and you come back and everyone's like, what about these questions? It's like, oh, there's actually tons more things to ask about. So that is a good one, Deeps. But there is something, I just don't know what it is. And that's what some of those trucks are. They're set up differently. Their thermal dynamics or whatever it was, the thermal cooling was set up differently for different environments. And I don't know how they do it, whether they do it on board or that's for their testing. They've got them set up differently to see how they last in different environments. So that was kind of interesting. That's what some of those trucks out there are for. All right. Well, we are going to get ready to wrap this up. I'm going to leave the comments open for a little bit. So if you guys have got any more questions and it's still open, put something in there. I'll answer if I can. If not, go ahead and put in the comments below. But I appreciate everyone who showed up. It's good seeing you. We'll see you again tomorrow. So thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.